They should get support to carry their baby to term. They should be able to get information from pregnancy resource centers, and especially about adoption. We must do better when it comes to adoption, to make it easier for adoptive parents and to avoid children growing up in a government system with too little love. We can broadly agree that pro-life doctors and nurses should never be forced to violate their beliefs. The right of conscience matters just as much as the right to life. Surely, we can all agree that abortion up until the time of birth is a bridge too far. Only 7 countries on earth allow elective late-term abortions. We're talking about brutal regimes like Communist China and North Korea. We should be able to agree that contraception should be more available, not less. And we can all agree that women who get abortions should not be jailed. A few have even called for the death penalty. That's the least pro-life position I can possibly imagine. Those are just some areas where national consensus is already within reach. There are others too, and we should do the hard work to find them through heartfelt dialogue. Sadly, finding consensus is the last thing on the mind of anyone in today's political or media class. Conflict makes for good fundraising copy and scary TV ads. Consensus doesn't get a lot of ratings or clicks. Hating and judging each other has become the norm instead of respecting one's personal story. I would remind those on the left who demonize anyone who is pro-life that it was not too long ago when President Bill Clinton said he wanted abortion to be, quote, safe, legal, and rare. Few Democrats say rare anymore. Just the opposite. Many want legal abortion anytime, for any reason, at any stage of pregnancy in every state and town in America. Some radical activists are even lighting pregnancy resource centers on fire. These are not the voices of consensus. They are acts of division and hatred. President Biden has done nothing to discourage it. In fact, he promotes it. That's not leadership. It's more part. That's often lost in this debate, on the left and the right. But it's front of mind for me. I acknowledge the humanity of both the unborn baby and the pregnant mom. I know how hard pregnancy can be. Some days you're so sick you can't get out of bed. You worry if you're up for raising a baby, and you know you're going to need a lot of help. That's what I felt during my pregnancies. Many women have it much harder. I desperately wanted a child. I had a loving family eager to help out. But some moms never wanted to be pregnant at all. Some are single with no one to help and no idea on how to raise a baby while keeping a job. I had a friend who was raped. I know the anguish she went through worrying that she would have an unwanted pregnancy. It was an anguish I wouldn't wish on anyone. We can't ignore the fears those women face. I will never downplay these difficulties as I fight for life, and I won't demonize those who disagree with me. We can't give in to the outrage and accuse our opponents of being evil. That's self-defeating. If we want to protect more moms and save more babies, we need more Americans to join with us. We must persuade people to find consensus, not push them further away. I know we can do it. I've done it before. 8 years ago, when I was governor, I encountered the most difficult challenge of my life. A sick and twisted young man walked into Mother Emanuel Church in Charleston. He joined a Bible study of African Americans. He sat down and prayed with them for over an hour, and then he opened fire. He murdered 9 amazing souls. He openly said he did it because of the color of their skin. In the awful days that followed, photos emerged of the killer posing with the Confederate flag. Amid our grief, a massive debate broke out. It centered on the Confederate flag that flew on the grounds of the South Carolina State House. Our state had been bitterly divided on the flag for decades. On one side were those who wanted to tear it down. On the other side were those who wanted to keep the flag. Both were united in their sadness over the Mother Emanuel murders, but they were divided about what the flag meant and what taking it down would mean. The debate was intense. People wondered if South Carolina would break out in violence and destruction like what we had recently seen in Ferguson, Missouri, and other places. But we didn't. In that fraught moment, I gave a speech and I said, I quote, "For many people in our state, the flag stands for traditions that are noble, traditions of history, of heritage, and of ancestry. At the same time, for many others in South Carolina, the flag is a deeply offensive symbol of a brutally oppressive past. As a state, we can survive as we have done, while still being home to both of those viewpoints. We do not need to declare a winner or a loser." And so I said it was time to remove the Confederate flag from the State House grounds. This was no easy task. It was a highly emotional issue in our state, and removal required 2/3 vote of both the State House and Senate. But several days later, large, diverse, and bipartisan majorities in our state legislature voted to bring the flag down. We found consensus on a very tough issue. Republicans and Democrats worked together and made progress by talking to each other as human beings. We saw past our differences and united to move forward as one state and one people. What was true then with the flag can be true now with abortion. This shouldn't be about one movement winning and another one losing. This shouldn't be about picking sides, scoring points, or stoking outrage. It's about saving babies and supporting moms. I'm fighting for all of them, and I will work with anyone to do that. I have faith we can make progress. I have faith we can save more lives and give every baby, mother, and family the best shot at the best life. Our national history should give us hope. Time and again, the American people have confronted great wrongs and worked hard to convince their fellow citizens to make them right. Think back to the abolitionists. They spent the better part of a century striving to end our original sin of slavery. Think back to the suffragettes. It took them longer to secure the support of their fellow citizens for women's right to vote. Think back to the leaders of the civil rights movement. Their tireless work showed America that segregation was wrong and equality was right. Think back to the progress we're already making in the restoration of the right to life. 50 years ago, a court forced unlimited abortion on an unwilling nation. Millions of Americans responded, not with rage, but with resolve. They reminded our fellow citizens about the humanity of the unborn child and the needs of pregnant mothers. Now that power has been restored to the people. Let us treat it as the important and deeply personal issue that it is. Let's discuss it in a way that allows Americans to show love for one another, not judgment or contempt. And let's find a consensus that allows us to save as many babies as we can while supporting women in difficult situations. I'm ready for the hard work that lies ahead, and I'm confident we can move forward together toward our founding promise of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.